Good morning, everyone. Mining, mineral exploration, and quarrying are important industries to the province. Almost $4.3 billion in mineral shipments, over $48.6 million in exploration expenditures, and a quarry industry valued at nearly $30 million. Employment exceeds nearly 7,000 people. These industries create opportunities for local businesses and increase the province's ability to invest in programs, infrastructures, education, and healthcare. As outlined in Mining the Future 2030, we are committed to supporting the mining and mineral exploration industries in Newfoundland and Labrador to help them make a full recovery from the global downturn due to the pandemic. We have ongoing collaborative dialogue with our mining companies, mineral explorationists, and quarry operators to determine their requirements and to assist with continuing operations. We are very pleased to see that mines across the province are leading in this pandemic and complying with public health requirements as set out by the Chief Medical Officer. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the mining industry in our province and all the men and women working in this industry during COVID-19. The mining industry has made every effort to protect workers and their communities. Many of our mining companies have donated personal protective equipment to help frontline responders in the fight against this virus, and we thank you for that. Most of our mining companies successfully continued with operations. These are much more challenging times for our mineral exploration industry. To aid the continued exploration and advancement of development opportunities for the mining industry throughout our province, today we are announcing that we are deferring rental and fee payments and waiving mineral expenditure requirements for 2020. These measures will provide financial relief, easing some of the pressures facing the industry due to COVID-19. Effective immediately, we are deferring rental and fee payments associated with land tenure issued under the Mineral Act and Quarry Materials Act until December 31st, 2020. The date range to be qualified for deferral is March 18th of 2020 to December 31st, 2020. Items being deferred are mining and surface lease rentals, mineral license renewal fees, application and reapplication fees, and rentals for quarry permits, quarry lease rental, and hectareage fees for quarry materials exploration license applications. We are waiving mineral assessment expenditure requirements for mineral licenses for 1 year, effective March 18th, 2020, the date that the Minister of Health and Community Services declared the public health emergency related to COVID-19, to December 17th, 2021. We are also waiving payment of water use charges for 2019 related to mineral exploration. Today, we are also launching our new Mineral Lands Administration Portal, or MinLab. We recognize that to continue to be globally competitive, we need to ensure the systems we have in place are competitive with the efficient regulatory process to foster growth, innovation, and encourage investment. MinLab replaces the Mineral Rights Administration system that the Department of Natural Resources had been using since 2005. The new portal is user-friendly and will be used mainly by prospectors and mineral exploration companies to administer existing mineral licenses and for staking of new mineral licenses. This new system will help ensure a seamless regulatory process for mineral exploration companies and prospectors and has significantly more tools for clients to use. The system can also be adapted in the future to perform various other functions related to mineral license management and to support the province's quarry program. To access this new system, please visit the Department of Natural Resources website. Also today, I would like to recognize our continued support for the Mineral Incentive Program to support and encourage mineral exploration in Newfoundland and Labrador. The program, valued at $1.7 million, includes junior exploration assistance and prospector assistance. Junior exploration assistance aims to grow the mineral inventory of the province through the discovery of new mineral districts, occurrences, prospects, and deposits. Prospector assistance provides training and direct financial supports to individuals who want to conduct mineral exploration in the province. As outlined in Mining the Future 2030, we are committed to supporting the mineral and mining exploration industries in Newfoundland and Labrador. Measures announced today will assist our mining and mineral exploration industries during these challenging times so they can continue to be a major economic contributor in the province. We are doing everything we can to support our mining, mineral exploration, and quarry industries to make a full recovery from the unpredictable global downturn caused by the pandemic. I want to recognize and thank Mining NL for their work, efforts, and advice. By working together, we will continue to be globally competitive, top-tier jurisdiction for mineral exploration and development, one that is safe, environmentally responsible, maximizes benefits and opportunities, and competitively produces quality products for the global markets. I'd like to also take this opportunity to thank the Department of Natural Resources and all those who have worked diligently over the last number of months to ensure the mining industry is well supported in the province. And I have with me here today the Assistant Deputy Minister, Alex Smith, and we're happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Coady. Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Lawler. I'm the Media Relations Manager for the Department of Natural Resources, and I will be the moderator on the call today. We will now begin with reporter questions. I have a list of everyone who has registered. We will pass through the list by order of registration so everyone is able to ask 2 questions and 1 follow-up. We will then proceed with an additional round of single questions as time requires until 11:30. I ask that you keep your phones on mute until called upon. Up first, we have Patrick Butler with Radio Canada. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Coady. First of all, how much do you expect these measures to cost the province, and is that money coming from sorry, I'm mistranslating here, coming from that fund that had been set up, that $200 million fund that had been set up to cover programs such as this because of the pandemic?
Well, thank you for the question. There was some interruption on the line, so I'll try and answer your question. If I don't get it correct, then you can come back on and ask me further questions. There is a portion of the money that we have announced today, the mineral assessments, that will not be spent in the province. Under the Act, companies who have licenses in the province have to spend a certain amount of money depending on the year in which they have their licenses held. And we're basically saying we'll waive that mineral assessment requirement this year. There are some other deferrals that will take place up until December of 2020. So deferral of payments of licenses and fees that may have to be in rental payments that might have been made during this global downturn. That also assists the industry, and we are waiving the water use fees for 2019. That's all what we're trying to do here, and we met repeatedly with the industry, is to ease some of the financial pressures that they have coming out of this global pandemic and into the next number of months.
Right, but what is the cost of this to the province? Do you have a figure of how much this will cost provincial coffers?
Certainly. $30 million in the assessment, the mineral assessments. And then there is some money, because we won't be collecting money to the province in the terms of the deferral. So there's some cost there, but it's roughly around a $1 million cost to the province. The $30 million, of course, comes that the industry does not need to spend this year in the province because of the global downturn.
And
Alex,
you
is there
mentioned
anything you
at the
want to
beginning.
add to that?
I guess I would make the point that the mineral assessment requirements are not payments to government. It's actual exploration work value that needs to be undertaken. So there's really no cost to government there. The fee deferrals will ultimately be paid, so there's some relief to the companies in the time they get to pay it. The only thing that's truly being waived are the water use license fees for mineral exploration, and that's in the area of $40,000, I believe.
Sorry, what was that last? Sorry, you're quite faint. What was the last thing you said? That sits in the area of how much money?
So the water use license for exploration activities is being waived, and that's the only true cost to government at about $40,000 of fees.
Okay. Lisa, do I have one left? Could I ask one more?
Yes, you have one more.
Thanks. I'm just curious about the Labrador-Quebec border in the context of mining in this province. Because that has been effectively closed off to workers in Quebec, that's created some issues in terms of staffing and having Quebec workers who are specialized in certain areas being able to work at mines on the Labrador side of the border. Is there any plan on the horizon to change that in order to allow those workers to go to work?
Well, certainly we've been working very closely with the mining industry and with the Department of Public Health, the Department of Health and Community Services Public Health Division, to ensure that we have the right protocols in place. There is some movement in and out, obviously going through the airport in Wabush on to sites, for example, with some of the mining industry, and there are protocols in place. But we're working very closely with the mining industry to make sure the correct protocols are in place to ensure effective operation.
Thank you. Up next, we have Brenda McCarthy with the Telegram. Please go ahead.
Yes, good morning. Minister, can you give us an idea of, is there an assessment of how COVID-19 has affected the mining industry over the past couple of months in terms of a number of workers not working who might have been normally, projects not operating that you might have expected?
Well, certainly there has been some downturn in the activity. You can look at Vale Underground, for example, over the last number of months. They have been in care and maintenance of their underground project. They are now slowly but surely ramping back up. We've seen the same thing with Tata. We've seen the same thing in central Newfoundland. So there have been a number of mining entities that have had to go into care and maintenance because, of course, of COVID-19. I don't know if, Alex, we have a direct number of employees impacted. For example, in Vale, their underground project, they continued to pay their employees over the last number of months, and now they're bringing their employees back. There have been no real big reported loss of employment, Alex. I don't think we have any.
No, I don't have
that?
firm numbers. I do not. No, sorry.
So as the projects, wound down, for example, went into care and maintenance, a lot of the employees were still with the company, and we're still functional within their own company. They just weren't working on the project. But now it's all ramping back up slowly, controlled, and following all the protocols of the public health requirements.
Minister, I was wanting to know if you had any comment on the Voices on the Ground report that came out earlier this week that was very critical of the mining industry globally and of the Canadian companies and of some of their operations within Canada. Your assessment of that report and maybe how it plays or not plays in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Well, certainly we're concerned, obviously, of any report that is indicating that there aren't the controls in place. I can tell you in Newfoundland and Labrador, we work very closely with the mining industry. They follow everything that is required. We have very important controls and environmental controls, safety controls in place. And I can report to the people of the province that our mining industry is very stellar, and they work very hard with their communities. And we don't hear reports from communities in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and I have I'll turn to Alex and see if he has any reports, but I certainly don't have any reports of any communities having concern of the mining industry in this province. Again, I would say that, through Mining NL, through work that we do with individual mining companies, they have been very important to the communities in which they reside, and ensuring that they have the social license, the work, addressing the important environmental concerns, and addressing what I'm going to call community benefits.
Was Alex going to speak or to that, or?
I'm not aware of the particular report that you're referencing, but Canada in general and Newfoundland and Labrador in particular, of which I have more knowledge, does have a stellar reputation with respect to mining, world class.
My final question is related to the MinLab portal. Was that something that was in the planning, or is it because of, or was it expedited by the pandemic?
No, we've been working to develop a new system for quite some time. We've been testing it, working with industry, and making sure that it fit the needs of a growing community of mineral exploration and mining activity in the province. And we're just pleased to see it now in place and working and functioning very well. It was put in place during the pandemic, so kind of slowly introduced in March, and then throughout the last number of months, it has been working well, and it is state of the art. And I can tell you that over the last number of months, the department in early March was in Toronto for one of the largest mining conferences in the world, PDAC, and there were a lot of jurisdictions across Canada that were very interested in that particular system, and we're pleased to have it now functioning in the province. And great work by the department and by OCIO of putting that portal together.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from John Woodside, allnewfoundlandlabrador.com. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you just tell us a little bit more about how this came together? When did you start thinking about waiving or deferring fees? Which companies were you speaking with? That type of thing.
Well, certainly once once COVID-19 hit the province, and we knew we were going into this period of uncertainty and economic downturn, we've been speaking with mining industry. We've been working with them to determine what would be the most effective plan we could put forward, the most helpful, the processes that were required in order for them to continue to be successful in the province and to attract exploration. And we've seen other jurisdictions across the country putting in various supports, and we've been following them as well. So this has been over a number of months.
And could you say which companies you were speaking with?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Which companies?
The companies that you were actively involved with talking about this. I'm thinking, was this along the lines of IOC Valet or Search Minerals and some of the smaller players?
All the smaller players as well as all the large players. We speak regularly with Mining NL, and of course, when the pandemic came to the province and we were in a public health emergency, we've been speaking almost daily, I guess, Alex, with both small and large companies, both for them having to make the arrangements at the very, very earliest stages of either slow down, going into care and maintenance, or continuing operations and following public health guidelines. So we've been, speaking with people who are doing junior exploration to the largest of mining companies. I don't know, Alex, if you want to add to that?
No, I agree with what you say there, Minister. The assessment requirement waiver truly benefits the exploration companies more than the operating companies, for sure. And they tend to be the smaller companies. So we've had reams of correspondence from the companies in the province making suggestions about potential supports, asking for help. We've dealt directly with Mining Industry NL and the Newfoundland and Labrador Prospectors Association as well.
you. And just one more thing. One of the first, I guess, big hits to the provincial mining industry with the coronavirus pandemic was, of course, the collapse of the Canning mine deal. That Sprott Resources is now in the process of seizing. I'm wondering if you're aware of any developments with that particular project since the deal fell through back in March, I suppose. Thank you.
I'm not hearing him.
No, it's about the CAMI project. And
Oh, CAMI,
status of
okay.
it, yes. So my understanding is that the financiers are putting the project in and engaging a receiver, at which point I guess the project would likely be sold. It's truly a confidential business matter, I believe, with the financier. So the department, while we have talked to them, we haven't got much details at all. The project remains a good project. Iron ore remains strong despite COVID-19. So, we remain optimistic and feel that CAMI is a good project that someone will take on.
And I'll add to that. I think it's very important to know and to realize that CAMI, as Alex has said, is a very important project to Newfoundland and Labrador. Iron ore is holding strong on global markets. The CAMI project has been through their environmental assessment. They have their processes in place, and it is a project ready to start, and we're looking forward to seeing who might be interested in bringing that project to fruition. Labrador, in particular, has an incredible mining opportunity and future, especially in iron ore. We know the Labrador Trough has great potential, and we're looking forward to seeing who might come in to develop that project, and we'll be working closely with them to ensure it does come to fruition.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Evan Kareen with the Labradorian. Please go ahead.
Hi. Well, actually, the first question I was going to ask was about CAMI, so I guess that's out of the way. I was wondering if there have been any delays in any of the other projects that are slated to be going ahead in Labrador, specifically the Joyce Lake project by Century Global. So I want to get an update on the status of that.
I said there's been very little activity on Joyce Lake. I believe that's the project you referred.
Mm-hmm.
So there was very little activity on that project coming into the pandemic, and I haven't heard any update on it since.
Okay. Well, the only other question I had was about CAMI, and that's been answered, so that's it for me. Sorry.
Thank you. Up next, we have Ben Clary with NTV. Please go ahead.
Hi there. Thanks. I just have one question. Could we just get one quick summary of this announcement and how it helps the industries in the here and now?
Certainly, I'll be happy to give you this. So we have, effective immediately, the following measures we put in place. Deferral of rental and fee payments associated with land tenure issued under the Mineral Act and the Quarry Materials Act until December 31st, 2020. Waiver of water use charge payments for 2019 related to mineral exploration, and waiver of mineral assessment expenditure requirements for mineral licenses for 1 year from March 18th, 2020 to March 17th, 2021. We also the deferrals include mining and surface lease rentals, mineral lease renewal fees, application and reapplication fees, and rentals for quarry permits, quarry lease rentals, and hectareage fees for quarry materials exploration license applications.
Perfect. That's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Up next, we have Jeff Smythe, VOCN. Please go ahead.
Hello. I just had a couple of questions. First of all, how heavily does the local mining sector rely on workers from outside Newfoundland and Labrador?
It would depend on which mine, for example, but we do know that when you're in maintenance, when there are maintenance activities required by various mines, and again, it depends on the mine, there may be workers that are needed to come to the province. But I can tell you during the last number of months, all the mines, especially in Labrador, were very focused on making sure that it was local residents only, but that will have to open up somewhat during the maintenance period, because they will have to bring in experts and specialists from outside the province. But by and large, they're focused mainly on Newfoundland and Labrador workers. And I'll just ask Alex, is there anything to add to that?
No, I would agree with that. Talking specifically of Lab West, I know they look for workers and within the Lab West area, then they look within the province, and only then do they consider workers from outside the province. So the outside of the province workers could be specialists where there's no specialization within the province for the type of work. But also during the summer season, Lab West, it's the availability of workers to do work is an issue as well, because most everybody's employed that wants to be employed already.
All right. You also mentioned that there's lots of potential moving forward. Are there any thoughts on potential incentives to attract further development in the local industry?
Not specifically. We have a full program called the Junior Exploration Program, and that is, I mentioned that already today, that is money that we put into industry to incent and encourage exploration. So that money is there. Whether we can augment that going forward, that is something that we may consider. But we do have a full Mining the Future 2030 plan that we're working through and working with industry, but because we see that as something that will really help to ensure that Newfoundland and Labrador is a global leader in mining.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've went through the first round of questions, and we now have time for an additional round of single questions. Up first, we have Patrick Butler, Radio Canada.
Hi, I'd just like to ask a second question related to, you mentioned that the waiver of mineral assessment expenditure requirements amounts to about $30 million. That $30 million not being spent on assessment this year, what does that mean? What's the impact of that being removed from the equation for the rest of the year?
Well, certainly those expenditures, they may not, some operators may still continue to invest in their exploration programs. What we're saying is they are under the Act, they are required to do a certain level of investment, but we're going to remove that requirement because especially from the junior exploration perspective, it's very hard to raise money on the markets right now. And to fulfill the requirements under the Act. But so there will still certainly be some expenditures still done in the province. But what you won't see is if you look at it in the totality, you may see less exploration activity, which I think most people would have expected this year anyway due to the requirements of COVID-19 and travel and things of that nature. It will be very difficult for some of these junior exploration companies who may bring individuals from outside the province who would be moving around the province to do their work. So we've waived that requirement, but there will still, I'm sure, still be exploration happening around the province where it is possible.
Thank you. The next question is from Brenda McCarthy with The Telegram. Please go ahead. Brenda McCarthy with The Telegram, do you have a follow-up? Okay, we'll move along to John Woodside, allnewfoundlandlabrador.com. Please go ahead.
I'm all right, thank you.
Thank you. Evan Kareen, The Labradorian.
I'm good as well.
Thank you. Ben Clary, NTV.
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you. Jeff Smythe, VOCM.
I think I'm all set too. Thank you.
Thank you. The time for questions has now ended. Please forward along any follow-up questions you may have to the department. Thank you for participating in the event today.